Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Clinton Monchuk, and I'm the Executive Director of Farm Food Care Saskatchewan. I want to welcome you all to Farm Food Care Saskatchewan's Agriculture in the City event, and this is going to be an excellent opportunity for us to celebrate the food that we grow in this great country. This year, as you can see, it's COVID-ized. We're going to be holding this online and doing it in conjunction with Canadian Food Focus. We're excited to partner with different Canadian chefs, cookbook authors, home economists, and dietitians to not only learn about the great food grown and raised here in this country, but also learn how to cook it. We know you're going to enjoy discovering the new recipes and cook-along videos, as well as learning more about farming and how that food is being produced with the farmers and ranchers in this country. Stay tuned throughout the event, as we will have some chances for you to win some prizes. So today is the first event, and it's all about the beef. And we're going to jump right into it with Chef Andrea Buckett to learn how to cook a classic home-style meatloaf. The recipe can be found on Canadian Food Focus website, and the link is available down in the comment section. So it's canadianfoodfocus.org. Andrea Buckett is a chef and food expert. She has worked as a culinary instructor, caterer, cooking school manager, recipe developer, and a food writer. Find her online where she inspires the appetites of Canadians through her platform, Andrea Buckett Cooks. Now, with that, take it away, Andrea.
Thanks, Clinton. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrea Buckett. Welcome to my kitchen. Today, I'm very excited to be with you to share with you one of our favorite family recipes. It's a weeknight meatloaf. Of course, I always love to have beef on hand as a staple ingredient because it's chock full of protein and easily absorbable zinc and iron, which is great for the immune system. Of course, we love to support our Canadian farmers, of which there are 60,000 Canadian ranchers across the country. Before we get started with the recipe, and because we're cooking with beef, I thought it might be interesting to visit one of those ranchers. So let's visit Erica, a rancher from Saskatchewan.
Hi, my name's Erica Stewart, and I'm a third-generation cattle rancher from Saskatchewan. My husband and I, our two daughters, and soon-to-be new baby, who's due October 21st. We ranch with my parents, Bill and Terry Strand, here in Moore, Saskatchewan. Just want to introduce you to my family. This is my husband, Kyle. He's just coming in from riding through the pairs. This is our middle daughter, Hazel. Hazel, can you say hi? Hi! We run 300 mother cows and all their 300 calves that they had last spring. We also have 15 bulls and 60 replacement heifers. And we have all those animals spread out over 34 quarters of land. So that equals 5,440 acres. And it is our job to take care of all those animals and all that land every single day of the year. Rain or shine, no matter if it's minus 40 or plus 30. And so I wanted to share with you all our ranch, what we do as ranchers, just to give you some insight as to what actually happens on a cattle ranch here in Western Canada. And yeah, to hopefully answer any questions you might have about ranching or beef production. And just like I say, yeah, give you a little insight into our life as ranchers. And I know that I love this life and this industry. I'm very passionate about it, and I just want to share that with you guys and share a little bit about what we do. We'll be doing more videos, and there'll be more showing you guys what actually we're doing on our working ranch every day. So thanks a bunch, and like I say, hopefully you can continue to tune in.
That was really great. Thank you very much. I invite you all to check out the whole series of videos that show what life is like on Erica's ranch. And you get to see more of her family and her kids. It's great. And we're going to post that here in the chat section. Now it's time for a door prize. I promised you before there'd be prizes in this. and I'm going to ask you one of the questions. And if you want to answer, just put it in the chat section, and you could win a door prize from the Saskatchewan Cattlemen's Association. So this is the first question. What do ranchers use to tell their cattle apart? Is it A, name tags, B, license plates, or C, ear tags? Okay, so what do ranchers use to tell their cattle apart? Name tags, license plates, or ear tags? Just type your answer down below in the chat section, and we're going to follow up with the winner after we select you. So the correct answer in this was C. Obviously, we put a little ear tag in them, and it's kind of like almost like an earring where it just goes through the ear and it identifies, and that's the best place to actually put it on beef cattle. Now, not only that, it's a requirement from the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. There's a radio frequency element to it as well in that tag. And that makes sure that we can actually trace that animal all the way from processing all the way back to the ranch where it was originally from, which actually, has more confidence in our system here in Canada to trace those animals if there is any issue. So thank you very much for playing. We're going to do one more prize later on tonight. So just keep on listening, and we're going to go right back to Andrea.
So let's get to the recipe, a weeknight meatloaf. I love meatloaf during the week because it's easy to throw together. You can really put any flavorings you want into it and it turns out delicious. But there are some tips I'm going to give you to keep it nice and moist. In my bowl here, we're going to start with 2 pounds of lean ground beef. Now, the first tip I have for you to keep it moist is this. We're going to start with 1 slice of white bread. Now this could be bread, it could be like a leftover hamburger bun, it could be a hot dog bun, whatever you have on hand. You could use a whole wheat piece of bread as well. That works just fine. We're just going to rip it up here into little pieces, and then we are going to pour in some milk. So I've got my 2% milk here. It's about half a cup. You could easily use 1% milk, or if you only had cream or half and half, you could definitely use that. It would just make it a little bit richer, which is also okay. While we get our other ingredients going, I'm just going to let this sit and let that bread absorb the milk. The second thing I like to do to add moisture to my meatloaf is an onion. We're not going to chop it up though. We're going to grate it on a box grater so it adds moisture and flavor. So you're simply going to use your box grater and get in there and grate it. Now you don't want to get too close because this can get a little bit messy. And you could do it right into the bowl as well. That's about as far as I'm going to be able to take it. And then we're just going to get rid of this. And then you can see I have some on my grater here as well. We're just going to get that quickly into the bowl. And for that, I like to use my bench scraper and get that in. So you can imagine that is going to add a ton of flavor and moisture as well to this meatloaf. So let's go in with the rest of the seasonings. Okay, dry mustard is a must. Mustard is a must. You could also use plain prepared mustard as well. About a teaspoon of that goes in here. Garlic powder, we're going to go in with a teaspoon of garlic powder. I love dried thyme leaves for this, and so we're going to use 2 teaspoons of dried thyme leaves. And that's about all the seasonings you need, but you do need a little bit of salt here. So if you like more salt, you can add more salt, but I'm going to put in about half a teaspoon. Okay. Another great ingredient that I love to put in my meatloaves, which is a Canadian ingredient, is oats. I know a lot of people like to use breadcrumbs as filler, but I like to reach for oats because of course they have fiber and lots of great qualities. So we're just going to pop those oats right in there. Another great flavor agent for meatloaf is Worcestershire. It has umami flavors in it, and it really brings out the best flavors of beef. So I always add Worcestershire to my meatloaf. So that was about 2 tablespoons. Of course, we're going to add a little bit of an egg here to help bind everything together. So when you're at the grocery store, when you're looking to buy beef or cuts of beef, it's easy to pick out what you want because everything is categorized in terms of how you're going to cook it. So you've got grilling steaks, you've got marinating steaks, you've got fast fry steaks. And the way they categorize it at the grocery store is so the consumer can go and look at what they want and pick it out easily and go home and cook it. So that's great. Ketchup. Are you a lover of ketchup? We are lovers of ketchup in this house. And the ketchup helps to add a little bit of sweetness to this recipe. We have lots of savory spices in there, and the ketchup is just going to help to balance out the savory with a little bit of sweet. Okay, so our milk has mostly been absorbed into that bread, and the bread, you're going to just use your fingers here to break it up even more. And we're going to put it right into this mixture here. You want to break it up because you don't want to have big hunks of bread. You want to make sure that that moisture is going to be evenly distributed throughout your beef. All right, so that's it. That's all the flavorings that go into that, and we're going to mix it up. You also want to make sure you preheat your oven to 350 degrees. But I'm going to tell you, there's nothing better than getting your hands in here. It's a great thing to get the kids involved in. Also, if you're going to go to all the trouble of making a great meatloaf, sometimes it's great just to go ahead and double the recipe right from the beginning. And you can cook them both at the same time, and then you can freeze one for later, or you can use one and slice it up for sandwiches during the week. So off the top, I told you guys that there are over 60,000 cattle ranchers across this amazing country of ours, and they do really work so hard to provide us with delicious, nutritious, and safe products. Cool fact about cattle is that they spend almost 9 hours a day eating. That's a lot of time eating. And the majority of their life is spent grazing on grass. Okay, so this is almost mixed. You don't want to overmix this. You just want to make sure that all the ingredients are incorporated thoroughly. And as you can see, it really takes no time to put together a meatloaf. Also, you may or may not know that Canada is known around the world for some of the greatest beef. We produce some of the greatest beef around the world, and a lot of ours goes to United States, Mexico, and Japan. So it's revered worldwide for its quality and flavor. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm going to prepare a baking dish here, and this is just a 9x5 loaf pan. This is a non-stick loaf pan, but I always like to use my friend parchment paper here. And in order to get it into the pan seamlessly, I like to just cut the corners on each corner, and that is going to help my parchment paper sit in my pan just like that. So it just helps the corners sit evenly. Perfect, just like that. All right, so now let's get our meat in there. We're just gonna take it, I'm gonna put it in by hand here. You could dump it in all in one shot. And the parchment paper will just help release the meatloaf at the end. Okay. You wanna make sure you evenly distribute the meatloaf. Get it all in, and this is gonna make quite a large meatloaf, which is okay for me. I serve 3 adult men. My boys are 18 and 22, and they are really excited about eating this tonight. So we're getting it in there. Like I said, we preheated our oven to 350 degrees, and this will take close to an hour and a half to cook completely through. You're looking for the beef, if you're looking for a temperature, should be at 160 degrees Fahrenheit when it's done. So that's an easy way to know when your meatloaf is done. Just gonna pop down here. So we're gonna get that into the oven, and when we come back, I'm going to show you what it looks like and what we serve it with.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Andrea. It is really looking great. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and we're just going to hear from a rancher and a territory manager from here in the great province of Saskatchewan and he's going to be talking about why he's so passionate about working in agriculture.
Hi, I'm Mike Kersinger, Territory Manager with the Cargill Specialty Canola Program here in central and northeastern Saskatchewan. I'm also a cattle producer in Viscount, Saskatchewan, where I was born and raised on a mixed grain and livestock operation. Growing up on the farm is where I really developed my passion for the livestock industry, along with being involved in 4-H. Growing up on the farm, our parents taught us that if you take care of your land and you take care of your livestock, they'll take care of you. My appreciation for the grain industry has really developed as I've been working in the ag industry. Working at Cargill, I am very fortunate to be working with growers who are primarily producing crops and also working for a company that delivers products to our end-use customers that ultimately feed the world. Here in Canada, we are so very lucky to have some of the most abundant, safe and safest food anywhere in the world, and I'm very proud to be working in the agriculture industry.
You know, it was great to hear that, because just speaking as a farmer, and I grew up on we had cattle as well. I can definitely relate to being part of agriculture, and it really is such a passionate industry, and I look forward so much to the spring and the fall times when I can start the crops and take off the harvest at the end of the year. It's just a very passionate industry to be into. Now it's time for another prize. If you know the answer to the prize, again, just put it in the chat section in the bottom, and we will select one of you for this. If you, so the question is, name one of the main nutrients found in beef. So this is an open-ended question. So name one main nutrient found in beef. Again, if you know the answer, just put it in the chat section below and you can win a prize pack from the Saskatchewan Cattle Association. Now, if you said nutrients like protein, iron, zinc, vitamin B12, you are correct. Beef is a really good source of a dozen different beneficial nutrients. It really is packed full with great nutrients for your body. And we're going to select a winner, and we're going to get back to you with the prize details. And until then, I'm going to send it back over to Andrea. So take it away.
One final thing I like to do 30 minutes before the meatloaf comes out of the oven is to mix together 2 tablespoons of ketchup and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And we are going to stir that just until the brown sugar begins to dissolve. And we are going to brush this over the top, or we could pour it over the top of the meatloaf and put it back in the oven for about 30 minutes until it's completely cooked. So there we have it. Our meatloaf is fully cooked. It smells delicious. I cannot wait to dig into this. There are lots of ways you could serve this meatloaf. I'm gonna just serve it up simply tonight with some boiled potatoes and some green beans. You could definitely slice a piece and fry it and put it on a sandwich. That would be equally as delicious. In fact, this is great as a leftover sandwich as well. So let's cut a piece of this meatloaf and serve it up. We're just gonna take a nice thick slice from this end here. Oh, and I just love that ketchup topping. Look how beautiful and moist that is. The perfect meatloaf any day of the week. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe as much as I do. Thanks for having me, and happy cooking.
Thank you very much, Andrea. It looks absolutely delicious. I can't wait to sink my teeth into some of that in the future when I make one of these meatloafs. I want to just take the opportunity to thank everybody for being a part of this evening. I'd like to remind you to check out our Ag in the City learning pages, which are on the Farm and Food Care Saskatchewan website, where you can find out fun facts about farming and food. We're just going to post that over in the comments section. While you're there, feel free to look for the Ag in the City icon. This will help you answer questions in our Ag in the City online trivia contest as well. Check back often because there will be new questions that we're going to post every webinar, and you could win one of 3 prize packages that will include a hardwood cutting board as well as a $50 gift certificate for groceries. So kind of a nice prize. Also, check out and follow us at Canadian Food Focus for more recipes, articles, and healthy Canadian ingredients and videos about farming and the great food grown here in this wonderful country. Again, that is CanadianFoodFocus.org. Join us back at the same time on Tuesday, April the 20th, where you can learn to make your own custom vinaigrette with dietitian Michelle Jalen. See you then. Thank you very much for being a part of this, and I wish everyone a good evening. Bye for now.